The foolish man for friends all those who laugh at him will hold, but the truth when he comes to the council he learns, that few in his favor will speak.
Hey everybody, it's Jeremy, and welcome back to turn 25 of Aries, where we are playing the Well of Urd, god of Utgard. Let's jump right into the turn. This should be a big one. Alright, so we have a messenger from Atlantis, twice. Big stuff. Part 1 of 2. Okay. I see, that is worrisome, but fear not, friend, I have a plan. Lemuria needs help with Midgard and Erythia, and I am messaging them now. So if you can attack Midgard a little with raiding and take a few provinces here and there, then Lemuria can attack Midgard a lot, because Lemuria is currently fighting two fronts, which will lessen the attacks on you and net you some provinces. I'm not sure that that's the case. Lemuria can do this if I attack Erythia, who they are having problems with, and I think I can at least distract Erythia, even though Vadheim is still a nuisance for me. But in a couple of turns, with the right research, the water battles with Erythia will be well in my favor anyway. But, in effect, it will be me, you, and Lemuria against Midgard, Erythia, and Gath. But they are not all working together as of now, which can be a huge advantage for us. I think we can pull Ulm to our side. And that would mean a decisive victory, or I might be able to get Vadi to help, but that is a long shot. So the attacks go as follows. You attack Midgard a little by raiding provinces here or there, but you focus on Gath. Lemuria can focus on Midgard, and I will focus on Erythia, plus deal with Vadi here and there. So we know there's a second part of the message, so before we start talking about anything, let's go ahead and read that. If the Ulm portion cannot work due to hostilities, please let me know. Yeah. As I'm willing to cut Ulm out if you don't want to work together with them. Most importantly, keep updating me on your situation every turn you can, in as much detail as you are willing, so I can coordinate us all as best I can. For verification purposes and to quickly build some trust, plus save a turn in communication, if you agree, message Lemuria it's on this turn, and expect to receive the same in a few turns, so that you don't have to trust them completely and reveal your plans, but can get confirmation that I'm telling the truth. Here's hoping you and me can get to the top, dance partner. Ha. So, a couple of things automatically, right? Ulm is out of the picture, considering I own Ulm. But me attacking Midgard is probably not plausible anytime soon, right? Sure, it would turn pressure off of Lemuria and allow Lemuria to attack Midgard, but Gath, I don't think Gath is even attacking Lemuria anymore. So I think at this point Lemuria should be in a 1v1 with Midgard. And if Midgard hasn't handled Lemuria already, then Midgard might not be able to handle Lemuria. So there's that, right? Then there's the concept that I just can't move out of my lands with Gath in them currently, right? I can't do anything about that. Kind of, to a point, right? So while I'm kind of into this 3-on-3 action, I don't think it's gonna work how Atlantis is touting it at the moment, basically. Okay, so moving on from there, we got Blood Research 1, Evocation 3, and Alteration 1 done. We did 5 reanimations. And then we have a series of battles, a couple of dumb ones, a couple of perfectly fine ones. So here we have a battle in Copper Canyons. And this is my Mound King just moving out with a bunch of Gaudy Huskarls and random shit to take on Province Defense. We're not even going to watch it. So smash through that. We have a battle here in Elidor. And I do not know how this happened, right? I'm assuming maybe Lemuria already has Enslaved Mind and has enslaved some Gibbers, which is why Gath is now like, well, guess I'm not going to fight Lemuria, guess I'm going to fight Utgard, because he doesn't want to get enslaved, which is fair, absolutely fair. So there's a battle there where Lemuria is pushing Midgard back. We lost Ironwood Forest because we didn't put any province defense in it. That's my bad. It got attacked by a scout. And then we have a couple of battles. So let's watch through some of these. Desert of the Cliff Dwellers is a little raiding party, the little Gittite raiding party. And this is going to go up against a bunch of slingers. And the slingers run forward and they shoot at the commander in like an effort to pop the commander. But he has an iron cap and a shield. They have little to no chance of actually doing anything to him. And they are cut down to a man. That is easy peasy victory for him. Then we have a battle here in Troll Woods, where I'm attacking more Olmish lands. And this is another great big line of stuff. Not really much that can happen here. But that is satisfying. Okay, easy peasy. That's Troll Woods. We have a battle in the Land of Plenty, where I am pinging the Land of Plenty with a scout. And we will see that his whole army has moved on to this, and he looks like he has put a fair chunk of province defense in. And that guy should be on hold and then retreat, which is exactly how that was supposed to go. Perfect. Let's see if he actually survived. He did. He successfully retreated to Yurik Balkor. Fantastic. There's another raiding party here in Lomark. Another series of Gittites. This one's a little stronger than that other one. And this PD is a little better than the other PD, but it's not going to matter. Okay. Lomark. So that's 14. I have to remember that. And then we actually got attacked by Ulm in the Forbidden Field. So Ulm is moving out with two little groups, ranger captains and a couple of rangers. And these guys have a crossbow and a pretty hefty axe, so they can be somewhat troublesome. But they also do not have the best of protection, so when people get into them, I don't think we get very many of them, but we definitely can kill some of them. So killed one, and if they hit any decent force, they'll get slaughtered. So a couple of events. Unrest in Copper Canyons. Another dire boar, a monster boar. That's unfortunate. The fertility cult in Troll Woods continues. We got some earth gems under a huge rock. We had a treasure found in the Promised Land, which is awesome. 1,000 gold, a bunch of random gems, and boots of long strides. And the Throne of Misfortune is spreading misfortune, which that kind of sucks. We're under siege in Defaros, but the enemy cannot harm our walls. All right. So what that basically means, if we take a look at the Land of Plenty, he's moved off his army and reinforced it with some crossbowmen, and looks like maybe a couple more Sibyls, maybe just padding it out, right? Which means he probably just put a scout here on our force. So I've taken a look at the last couple turns, and they're getting longer and longer, so I think I'm going to start switching over to the running the turn and then kind of just explaining what I am going on. So let's take this in chunks, right? We're going to take it in our southern front, our mid front, and our upper front, right? Okay, so in the southern front, we're doing a couple of different things, right? Last turn, we did a bevy of reanimations, right? We're going to now send King 1 up here with those long dead to track. We're going to see if we can't probably just take this back, right? This army is very unlikely to sit there, so we're going to take this back, and then what we'll probably do is move directly onto the Mighty Pillars the turn after, right? Jarl 2 is going to take his army into the Rimmire, and I'm going to meet him there with these 4 Seaths. These 4 Seaths aren't going to be able to do a crazy amount, but they are set to Mind Burn spam, and then they'll switch over to Horde of Skeletons, that whole thing. So they're not supported very well, but we're going to make do, okay? In the meantime, Big Goad will continue to preach here in Ulm. And Jarl 1 and Balder are going to pick up these individuals, and they're going to try to take Ironwood Forest back from this scout. Okay? Alright, so that's kind of the southern section. We are also doing some other stuff. We're going to recruit a Hearse and a Seathkona. Start recruiting Seathkonas on the regular down here. And we're going to start recruiting a bunch of Huskarls, because we can put Huskarls together relatively quickly. And the main reason being is my assumption is that he is going to spam Rangers of Ulm. Huskarls have kind of crappy stats, but they do have shields and caps, so we can put them out there to soak up shots. Also, they have their own javelins and they have axes, so they hit pretty hard. These can be decent in chopping up gibbers later if I need them to. Okay, so we're going to start producing these, and probably every other turn we will have another Hearse go out with how many is this? This is 8, so probably about 16 every other turn. So they'll take Dead Forest and probably try to tie up the Whispering Waste and stuff like this while we try to wrap up Ulm, and then potentially start attacking Gath's eastern flank. Okay, so that's the plan down there. In the middle front, right, which is basically Dofaros and the immediately surrounding areas, we're doing a couple of different things. One is we are going to break siege with Calm 2 and a couple of Huskarls, right? This is just in the concept that he leaves only the scout up. What he might do is he might double back here in Lowmark. He might take that force here to try to sit on it, or he might just come back with this force as well. Who knows? He might be taking this force up to Utgard. But we're gonna tentatively just attack with the commander, because while I do want to break the siege on Dofaros, I don't want to commit too much yet and have it get stomped. Okay? Because part of the plan in the mid and upper fronts are to stall for time until I can get things together and attack his army with a concerted force. Okay? So we're researching a bunch here. We're casting some more reanimations. Again, we're probably going to be doing that however many times we can here in Dofaros until we stock up, basically, on undead. And we'll go from there. I'm kind of just including Waywoods because nothing else is really happening up there. In Waywoods, we're continuing to research, and we are going to produce some hearses, and we're going to start having little counter-raiding parties to go out against the Gittite soldiers. Okay? So that's kind of the middle front right now. Not a whole lot of action just yet, but we're getting there. In Utgard, we are doing a couple of different things. We took Copper Canyons back. We're going to bring King 2 back with all of the forces that he has, primarily because these are the main amount of forces. We were considering the idea of going into his lands, but with him moving into the Land of Plenty, he's now threatening Utgard, so I want to be able to hold my capital if need be. That being said, I'm actually moving Jarl 4 off onto the Desert of the Cliff Dwellers to counter-raid these guys. And I'm only leaving one PD here just in case this turns into a little shit show where they're back and forth, that type of thing. So, what are we doing as far as recruitment goes here? Well, we're getting another Scrotty, and one of the reasons for that is with 2 Scrotty, I can basically do a turbo community, okay? So having the 2 Scrotty, be at the ready, be in wolf form, jump into a communion, which I do have some blood slaves in order to do. That can really allow me to ramp up with my Nornas for a very long time. So I want to get another Scrotty out in order to do that. And then I'm using most of my money for Gaudy Huskarls there. And then we're doing a bunch of others. So I'm getting more Huskarls here. I'm getting a bunch of Huskarls up here, etc. Right? So we're trying to make use of our income all over the place. We're also doing a couple of other things. We're going to kind of super kit out one Scrotty we're going to make some Boots of the Messenger, a horned helmet, and a Pendant of Luck. And that's probably going to go on Gunloth, because he is the one that still has water when he transforms into a werewolf. So he will probably be getting a Vine Shield, a Frostbrand, Black Steel Plate, Ring of Regeneration, Boots of the Messenger, Horned Helm, and a Pendant of Luck. And that's going to be a lot. That's a whole crap ton of gear to put on onto a thug this early in the game, right? But the thing is I think it's going to coincide very well with Alteration 4, which is going to give me Liquid Body, right? I'll have Liquid Body Quickness, and I will have the ability to do Breath of Winter, right? So that's going to give me a pretty imposing thug that I'm not sure that Gath is going to be able to deal with. And that thug I can use to help kill this army, or I can start making myself a nuisance through his lands, which is definitely one of the options that I might consider doing. Okay. I do not like how delayed I'm having to be, and I do not like that he is able to reinforce this army. He's probably going to keep doing it. But I'm having to take my battles because I had my main force down in Ulm, right? He chose the right time to attack. I am having to pick my battles very carefully in what I can do against him. The thing is he's giving me more and more time to finish Ulm off, right? Because keep in mind, I didn't even have Ulm cracked by the time he actually originally attacked me. Now I have Ulm cracked, and I'm finishing off Ulm's actual lands. That's going to give me another front to attack him through, and it's just giving me time to prepare. I'm hoping the Scrotty is going to kind of pull through for me, but I'm trying not to rely on that. I think when it's all said and done, right, we're probably going to have to do a pretty big communion and lose a bunch of Seaths in order to defeat this big army and push him back. Now, the reason why I don't want to pull the trigger super quick is because of, and he's being smart about this, right? It's because of the spam from the Sibyls for Body Ethereal, right? I do not have a good answer to Body Ethereal yet, because of me not taking a Bless for any of my weapons, right? So I don't have magic weapons on my Garmherdings. None of my base units, right, have magic weapons. Okay, absolutely none of them have magic weapons. And then, like, my go-to spells are like Horde of Skeletons. Don't have magic weapons, right? So it's a rough situation. If I get a good fight with a comparable army and a good mage core, then I can probably spam enough Horde of Skeletons to beat his force. But that's what I'm trying to do now, is I'm trying to build up enough of a force in order to actually do that. And it's going to take some time. So we are going to have to figure that out. Alright, is there anything else that I want to actually do? I think we're mostly good as far as explanations go of what is happening. One other thing you might notice, like, well, that was a whole lot of money that you spent. That is just Gaudy Huskarls and like regular Huskarls and stuff. You're right. I'm spending about 300 gold here in the Copper Canyons. Actually, I'm probably gonna bump that to 350 in order to hire the Wolfkin Reavers. And this is mostly for the reason of potentially catching his Gittite soldiers coming back. and also to potentially start raiding into his lands. The Wolfkin soldiers are pretty good. They're little wolf riders, basically. And they're pretty good as far as raiders go. So we're going to do that and see how it goes. Basically, I had a chance. I didn't really have a good thing to spend money on. I could start doing infrastructure, like doing a temple down here or down here. But this is kind of an uncertain scenario right now. This is also a crap fort, and I don't really want to produce anything in it. But Ulm is kind of an uncertain scenario right now, so I don't want to put too many eggs into that basket, right? Okay, so anything else that I want to do at the moment? I've been fiddling around with this over and over and over again. I can make this jump all the way up here to Nirn, right? And I could be back in Dopharos with Jarl 2's 65 units. I've gone back and forth on this over and over and over again for like the last 12 hours on what do I want to do. And each time I'm just like, jeez. Because if I can get his force to Dopharos to reinforce this, I think I have a much stronger fighting force to deal with Gath. But I think if I leave Ulm, I'm giving him the opportunity to become a problem. I still think this is probably the better move, right? Because Ulm isn't going to kill me in the next 10 turns. Gath might. If Gath gets on Utgard and parks it there, it's going to take him a while, but he can crack it. And he might actually win with that army. I don't know. So... I've also been playing with the idea of empowering Air Force 1. Because I have so many air gems that I'm not really using. And then doing things like... what is it? Seeking arrows, right? Just start spamming some seeking arrows at him. I don't think that's a very good idea, though. I legitimately considered it, but I don't think that's a very good idea because it can kill his civils, but it's not going to kill Gittite commanders, right? And it's not going to kill Abbas, and it might kill Nabis, right? Basically, it just has a low chance of actually connecting with someone that it's going to kill that I care about, right? I don't care about it. So, I don't think that's a route that I wanted to go. But I definitely did consider it there for a little bit. But for now, we're probably just going to bank these air gems. Probably use them in a big fight. Summoning a whole bunch of little air elementals and stuff like that. Okay. Let us end this. And we're going to end it with a couple of messages. The messages being... one, I'm going to respond to... Atlantis, right? Ulm is probably off the table considering I own Ulm now. I'm unable to attack Midgard because I'm dealing with the forces of Ulm and Gath at the moment, but I'm willing to participate in this alliance. The main issue for me at the moment is that Gath has a bit of a doom stack, roughly 190 strong, in my territory that I'm having to deal with. Right now my forces are split, so I'm having to reconsolidate to do something about them. The good news, it looks like Gath is putting almost nothing towards Lemuria anymore, so that might give them some breathing room. So I'm sending Atlantis that message. I'm not sending Lemuria anything. I'm not sending Lemuria an I'm in message or anything like that. I am interested in this, and I'm willing to participate in an alliance, but I am not willing to attack Midgard when Gath is already in my borders and Ulm is going to try to muster forces to take his land back. I need to focus on the beast in front of me without worrying about poking the bear behind me, right? Midgard's focused on Lemuria, which is good. I said from the beginning that I didn't really have a stake in which of them came out on top. Just that neither of them came out so strong that they were unchallengeable. The longer those two fight it out, the better. Because I need to be able to focus on Gath and get him off of me. And if Atlantis' game plan is to target Erythia, right? Basically, this is going to turn into a whole bunch of 1v1s. Which I'm more okay with a bunch of 1v1s than I am attacking Midgard and then having to deal with Midgard sending raiding parties at me while Gath sends doomstacks at me, while Atlantis doesn't touch Gath and doesn't touch Midgard but touches Erythia, and Lemuria doesn't touch Gath and doesn't touch Erythia but touches Midgard, right? Like I don't want to be the I get sandwiched but they get land person. Which might not be how it works out, honestly. Like, I'm not equipped right now to make moves against Midgard. So gonna continue to focus on consolidating and getting my forces ready to be able to challenge Gath. We're gonna have a big climactic showdown eventually. I'm hoping he doesn't just move on to my capital this turn, because he might. And I'm not going to be patrolling because I want the research first. Actually, okay, yeah. Well, there's no way we get to Eve Alteration for this turn. It'll need to be next turn before we can make it to Alteration 4. Okay, so I'm going to send out my message to everyone. And that message is, the well awaits the foolish. I could be wrong. Looking at Gath is very large, right? Gath might be mobilizing every single force he has to come at me. But the way he did it seems slow, right? Attacking me at first and not immediately, like, moving from range of shadow into Land of Plenty, not directly onto Defaros, right? Or moving into Land of Plenty and then not cutting me off here in Waywoods. He's like pitter-pattering around. He's not committing to anything. And I think that's a big mistake. He's giving me time to answer what is happening. And I think I'm equipped to deal with that, if that is what goes down. So, hopefully that is the case. We will see. And I will see you all next time. Peace.